What's going on, everybody? This is Paul Tamayo for Kotaku.com, and today I'm joined by
Chris Person. How's everyone doing?
And today we're checking out Creature in the Well. This comes out on September 6th for Xbox One, Steam, and Switch. So, yeah, it's a really interesting mashup of a dungeon crawler and a pinball game, which to me on paper is like everything I've ever wanted. I already have a save going, which tells me I'm about 76% of the way done. But we're going to start a new game just so y'all can get a taste of what it's like in the opening moments. And maybe if we have time later, I'll jump into like my later game save, in case y'all want to see like what kind of weapons and stuff I got. Because the in-game counter here says, I'm assuming that says, that can't be 57 hours. There's no way I've poured that much time into that.
I feel like that's the kind of time you get when you like leave your Switch on or something like that.
Yeah, there's no way I've played that much. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I want to say it's more like 7 or 8 hours, maybe more than that. But yeah, let's take a look at the cutscene real quick.
Cool. This game looks so damn good.
Yeah. So the basic gist of the story is you are a robot called Bot C, and you wake up in the midst of a sandstorm. We're about to see our hero here in a second, and you find out that, you know, slowly as the story progresses, at least in the opening moments, that you were one of many robot engineers that used to look after this giant facility that would be really useful to the people in the village to sort of take shelter during this massive sandstorm. The only problem is a creature has taken up shop, or set up shop in that entire facility and set up booby traps and is preventing everybody from setting up shop there. So you have to, by way of playing basically a bunch of pinball, restore energy to the entire thing, and you do that by one, grabbing something to swing with, in this case a pipe. So very early on you get the very basics. You have a dash move with your B, and if you hold it down it turns into a little sprint. And eventually you get a charge-up shot that we don't have just yet, but that allows you to sort of catch any balls and set them up so that you can tee them up so you can shoot them in a specific direction.
It was a really interesting, we share a pod, and we have a big ass TV that we do video capture on together. But for the most part, like, it was interesting seeing you play it and like being reminded of like Breakout and like you were talking about, like, it reminds you of like Sonic Spinball, which if you like Sonic Spinball, then you're a pervert.
yeah. I'm a huge pervert, and I love Sonic Spinball.
If you like Sonic Spinball, you owned Sonic Spinball at the time. That's kind of how that works.
It's a very niche demographic. Also, here we go. Here's the sort of titular creature in the well, and so yeah, you'll get like glimpses of their eyes and their hands for the most part, at least from what I've been able to tell so far. They kind of cloud him in this mystery, which I actually really, really dig. And like Chris alluded to at the top, the art style for this game is completely like gorgeous.
Gonna transition to the couch once.
Yeah, go for it. And it looks and sort of feels like a graphic novel. It almost feels like you can smell the ink on the paper. There's something really, really dope about just like the aesthetic as a whole. And
go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say shout out to my boy Chase, who also told me that I think he got a chance to speak with the developers at a recent show, and they said they were inspired by like Hellboy, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has a very Mignola. It's Mignola adjacent.
Yeah, so right off the bat, pun intended, we're gonna hit X here and get the basic, the gist of the game, which is basically to strike a ball and charge up that little device there, and then we get 38 of whatever that this currency is. Now we see here that we need, in order to progress, we have to add power. We don't have enough at the moment. We only have 200. So this game is basically a series of rooms where each room is basically like a pinball, a section of a pinball game, and your role here is to just try to activate all of the little cores here and then gain enough energy to then open the doors with. It sounds very simple at first. It quickly dives into some really complicated, rooms where things are moving and things are shooting at you. You can actually die, and it's actually a really fascinating game. I have a very, here we go. Here's our first little charge sword. So if we grab this now, if we hold Y, we can gather any balls in the area, and then we can sort of aim where we want, and then aim it at a specific direction. This is one of my favorite things of the game, is after you clear a room, a little core pops up, and then you get, a specific amount. As a reward, you get that, energy to then spend on doors that precede it.
Yeah. It's a very interesting, I don't know, even just how that thing was orbiting around the other thing was really, really fascinating to me.
It really is one of my favorite things I've seen in a game in a long time. Oh, in this case, now we have machines that will fire, if they'll suck them up too, and they'll charge them up and fire them right back at you. So now it becomes a game of like, it basically becomes a game of like racquetball, where you're just kind of going back and forth. So this game blends a ton of really interesting things together. And I'm actually working on, now we have a timed puzzle here where we have to get these in time, and which we did. And I've had such a love-hate relationship with this game as the further I progress. It's mostly love, I want to say, maybe like 60% love, and then the rest of it is just like, why are you doing this to me? Oh, here we go.
Balance issues and frustration with the. Yeah. Anyway, we won't get too into that, because save your impressions for impression stuff.
Yeah, my video should hopefully be dropping tomorrow, or maybe even the next couple of days at the most. But so you're basically progressing through these little like really beautifully designed, I refer to them as like these little like switch watch pinball rooms where. Yeah, all you're doing is basically just playing pinball. It actually also reminds me of those games you get ads for, like on Instagram, that are like, shoot the ball in the thing and then like clear all the blocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Very, a very tried and true format, but it sets it into this like adventure style world where it reminds me a lot also of, we talked about Sonic Spinball, but it also reminds me of a game that I played last year, I want to say it was, that I loved, and it was actually in my top games of the year, Golf Story. So it kind of like...
Yeah, Golf Story vibes, for sure.
Oh, it's such a good game. And it's a very simple mechanic that sets itself inside of a larger world and gives you a little bit of a story to chew on as you progress, and kind of gives you some rope to swing from room to room in. So now we're being introduced to our dash sprint here. Ooh. Yeah, I probably could have done that twice. But yeah, exactly. So people are saying some crosscode vibes for sure. A lot of projectile stuff, and you'll see as it gets harder and harder, it becomes way more interesting.
I like the little map on the side too. Also, just talk to us in the chat. We're here.
Yeah, we got our eyes on chat. So so right here, I guess I'm gonna fall down into this place. So here's like the main hub, and much like any sort of, dungeon crawler, you're gonna have like a space where, in this case,
it's Dark Souls all the way down.
Yeah, we're gonna activate this little reserve power monolith, and once we activate that by hitting a ball, we'll unlock the door in front of us, and that'll be the dungeon. So
this is also like, I will say, I love that little guy, the little frog. Let's talk about frog guy for a second.
Well, real quick, this is how you heal yourself in the game. You find these little pools, like these healing pools. You jump in them, you get all your health back.
Oh yes, a Lazarus pit.
Our dude Roger T. Frog, he's just here working the main hub space.
He's working class.
Yeah, his grandfather told him that the machine can't work without them, so he's been just been doing his thing ever since.
It's got a union.
Yeah. So it definitely has a lot of character. There are some really cool things to check out. So really quickly I'll take you to the just the outside space. Hey, what up, Spawn on Me? Shout out to the homies over there. So like this is one of my favorite parts of the game, where there's a larger world outside of that facility, and you can go into some certain buildings. Here we have Danielle. She is very helpful and will help you upgrade your bot core if you get coils from fallen robots that you'll encounter in the actual facility.
Rockabilly Space Gator is a good vibe.
Right. Here we have two utensils that we can use as items, and you'll see that there's plenty of room here to pick up more as you go. I actually really like the cooking pan, but we'll keep the cooking pan, and maybe we'll keep the charged sword for now. But there's really cool little what's the word I'm looking for? Character that you can see in the environment. And if we were to go back out, we'd go to where we started. And eventually, I will say that certain parts of this space will open up, and you can actually explore them and find other really cool side options. You'll find these little capes here that you can now wear and give yourself a little bit of personality.
A little like kid superhero vibe.
Yeah.
I was also going to say before I forget,
Yeah, go for it.
this game is very Nintendo Switch sized.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was talking to my roommate about this, and they were lamenting how you can't, like, so few games, like full ass games for the iPhone, and like where it's interesting to see where development is going with relation to the Switch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have these indie games that are like about this size that like they fit perfectly on a commute. You know what I
Totally.
mean?
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
fits in like the puzzles. I feel like Nintendo's gotten so good at it. Something they were so bad. They were the worst at.
Yeah,
Literally the
yeah.
worst at doing this, and now they're kind of the default.
Yeah,
They're where
yeah.
you go. You know what I mean?
And and like I said too at the top of the stream, this comes out September 6th for Xbox One, Switch, and PC. But for me, like when we were maybe batting around, no pun intended, ideas for coverage and getting codes, I totally missed that. I was like, oh, I kind of want this on the Switch. Like you mentioned a second ago, like each room is perfectly catered to like a commute, a bite-sized thing where you're going from room to room, and it's easy to just sort of digest as you go on throughout the day. Now,
Yeah. It's also just like and it's also a cost thing, like that price point of where you're going with these. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Oh, here we go. So now I'm in a room where if I can go on the defense and hold down my charge button, I'll sort of, catch the whatever things they sent my way, and you'll see there's a bit of finesse there involved where I can sort of ricochet that. I can bank it a certain way. And, I'm totally not nailing this.
It's like Breakout Celeste.
Yeah, yeah.
In that, like, there's just areas that will make you like bang your head against a wall.
Oh my God, yeah.
But
There we go. So now I have these things that I got to clear out soon because they hurt a lot. And yeah, like you mentioned a second ago, I love this game a lot. There's so many things that I love about this game. Like I keep talking about them. This being one of them. This really sick winning animation thing that you
it's
get.
so cool.
It's so pleasing to just watch.
Just how it's
and hear.
arcing,
Yeah.
like they're like jumping with little frogs.
So good. But then there are moments where it's like, I mean, I was talking about this in the office earlier, especially like yesterday and stuff, where I'm like, it can get so frustrating, and a lot of times it just strictly it almost feels like, I don't know if that's the case, but it certainly feels like it really requires you just being straight up lucky and getting a good roll, as it were. Like
Do you think a lot of that is any of that would be better on a better controller than the one that the Switch has?
Not really, because I mean I've been playing
curious, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing the bulk of it using a Pro controller, and
That's fair.
It feels really great that way. But yeah, there are times where like certain challenges, like I'm always up for like a really challenging game. I love Sekiro, I love Celeste. That never really deters me from like, if I can't get it on the 1,000th time, I'm gonna stop. And here you'll see like it sort of makes sense sometimes to slow it. I got in the way of the ball there. There are times where it makes sense to take a second and actually think about what you're doing. It doesn't always come down to just pure reflex and skill in that sense. But there are other times where like, man, it's really punishing. it's punishing to a fault, I would say. Like, where there are times where it's just completely demoralizing, and I have to like really step away from it for a while and come back to it later. But like, me being the stubborn fool that I am, I'll probably wind up finishing this game. But there's so much love about it that like I have a hard time completely writing it off. Like,
Yeah.
again, it's like a really love-hate relationship. And I was actually like, there were some things that I was really unclear. Ooh, look at that. That was kind of cool. There were some things that I was unclear on. I think the game is purposefully vague in a lot of ways, where it won't tell you things, even the way in which the game unfolds over time.
Sure,
like
yeah.
The way the dungeons unlock. There are it doesn't tell. There's like no specific order to it. That was nice. There's no specific order to it. You can go in whichever way you want, and that actually kind of that actually was a problem for me at one point, where I realized like, oh, I'm hitting a wall here. Maybe it's worth going back to another dungeon and just kind of seeing if I can get a better charge weapon or
Sure.
a better strike weapon.
And that can be done well. Like that's
Yeah.
a very old school PC way to approach things. It's a very Souls way to approach things. It's just sort of like hands off. But
Yeah.
if you don't balance it correctly, I imagine it can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and even like little things like over the course of the game, you'll unlock or you'll get the chance to acquire robot cores, which you can then upgrade your. There you go. You can
Nice.
upgrade your energy, the amount of balls that you can charge up and then strike at. And I wasn't sure like what I was upgrading every time I did that. I wasn't sure if it was like my health or what. And the game sort of like just kind of, I guess, maybe requires you to just figure it out on your own. And in some ways that's cool, but other times I wish it was just a little more clear. But it's not a deal breaker in some ways. In other ways, like I feel like sometimes I just wish like, man, I just really wish this game was a little more forgiving, because there are some puzzles like later on that maybe I'll jump into like my late game save where,
Maybe, yeah.
man, it's just like, please, like I want to love you so much, but you keep fighting me.
Not unlike Sonic Spinball.
Not unlike Sonic Spinball.
I'm still getting nostalgia stuff for Sonic Spinball. Well, that's really cool. I'm enjoying the like weird accidental Imperial logo on the ground.
Yeah, right.
And
Star Wars vibes.
It's definitely very much accidental Star Wars. And yeah, it sounds like you have a kind of complicated. But those relationships are interesting. You learn more from a complicated relationship you have with a game than one where it's like vague.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, I'm getting owned here. So this is part of like a little bit of a taste of you see, and so this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is even very early on, right? Like it starts you right back at the top, and it's like not a deal breaker. It's part of the challenge, but there are times where it's like, man, a lot of it can come down to luck, and I don't know. After a while, that can really grate on you. So it's like, and it's cool because like like right now I'm doing like a bit of mixture of like racquetball, but then also like goalkeeping.
Yeah.
Give me.
Someone said
Yeah,
hyperlight drift ball.
Hyperlight pinball. Oh, I didn't even realize I unlocked that. Oops. Yeah, and then eventually, the good news is eventually you'll get charge weapons and strike weapons that'll help you in your journey. Like there's one in particular that is really helpful. Like, see, I'm getting kind of destroyed by those incoming red projectiles.
Yeah.
There's one that eventually turns that into health for you. So
yeah.
You see, so here I'm already like at the top of the stream.
Oh, top.
I'm already having some difficulty here, so we're gonna have to like really focus here. It's also hard to play games talking.
Yeah.
There we go. Gimme. Oh.
God, yeah. No, I can see the. No, I'll just let you talk this one out.
Yeah, how's game audio, by the way? Hopefully people can hear the pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah,
sound
let
design in this
us know.
game.
Let us know how the game's audio is sounding and how our balance is.
Oh, you see, I died. So now you get a chance to see what it looks like when you die. And there are, maybe I don't have to catch each return when the balls come back my way, so I can probably just swing and just bat them around. But that, I feel like oftentimes that leaves me with less control. So, I like to know exactly where. And also, when I charge them up, I give them a little bit more energy. So when they hit the actual thing I'm aiming at, they'll get some more juice. So it'll require less. It'll do it faster, basically.
Yeah, I imagine that like it's a combination of knowing when the mechanics of the level are designed for you to do the work for you, and when you're supposed to do some like trick shot pool crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when Donald Duck taught us how to play pool.
Exactly.
Anyone remembers that cartoon from the 1940s?
Yeah, exactly. So we can skip. So the good thing is we can skip through this.
Thank God.
It's kind of annoying because you have to. I mean, you don't have to do them all over again unless you want the energy, the points. Thankfully, you don't have to do that again.
Yeah.
We can skip. Wait, I forget. I think I went right.
You did go right.
Yeah.
You
So that's
went
also
left and then right. But then
Yeah.
I think you went back.
Oh yes, I did.
You
I
went
did all
straight
this right.
forward.
Yeah, so that's also part of it too. Is I'm not a huge fan of the map on the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah.
It's cool to look at, but sometimes I'm like, wait, where am
At least
I?
it's there, like that kind of Metroid-y design.
Yeah, for sure. So I think this is the room. Yeah, here we go. So let's try this again. And that's kind of what this game is in a nutshell. It's like you lose, and then you have to sort of slowly make your way back to the place where you died at, and then uh, hope this time it'll be different. There we go. Okay, not bad. Also, sometimes there we go. I did it.
There we go.
Sometimes I feel like so in this room in particular, you saw that there was no door sort of blocking me, unless there's one over here. There's probably one over here. Oh, there is one. So I guess this one sort of really introduces to you the idea or the concept of the secret path. So the secret path is really, really good because then we get a fan blade. So here's the one I was just talking about earlier. Where now if I switch over to the fan blade, which it usually does automatically, you'll recharge energy from balls that are I believe it's this one. Yeah, so any balls that go through that little conversion thing where it turns red, you can use that to heal yourself basically. So it's really, really helpful when you're in a pinch and you need some HP.
Right, of course.
Randomly.
I like the little floppy save icon, actually.
Do the balls still do damage after they bounce off of wall? I.e., could you let them bounce back and forth against two walls? Yeah, so you could let them bounce back and forth and sort of let them do their thing on their own. Like I mentioned before, though, I'll demonstrate this right here. So if I'm charging them up, I give them a little bit more juice, as opposed to if I were to just hit them directly at a thing like this, for example. You see, I'm getting 52 or 100 or whatever, as opposed to 10 if I were to just hit it like that by default. Also, the benefit of holding this charge button down. Wow, that was a nice fucking useless hit right there. The benefit of charging this down like this is I get to direct it exactly where I want it to go, and it's less of like a.
It's like you're scooping them all up so that they can be directed exactly where you want to go, and a lot of that's holding it. The holding down mechanic influences you also aiming it.
Yeah, it's like when you toss a baseball up and you have a bat in the other hand, and then you just give yourself a second to really launch it. Yeah. Or tee it up if you want a golf metaphor, another golf story metaphor.
I love a good golf metaphor inside of the baseball metaphor.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, and then there are these rooms where it's just freebies, just free energy for you to take.
It's also just giving you time to get used to the mechanics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially after that other thing, it's just sometimes you're just gonna bounce around with it.
And you can sort of move and dash. With the thing too.
I thought that staying in that space made you static, but the dash makes sense.
Yeah. So if you hold it down, then you dash, then you hold it again, you can sort of take them with you. And there are some rooms that take advantage of that. So the layout of certain rooms are really, really clever and really, really challenging. But then, like I said, there are other rooms that are just come on, give me a freaking break, man. So here's even a home plate where you can
That's actually kind of funny.
Oh, shoot. Ah, dang it. So it makes more sense to be a little bit on the outside of the plate, much like in baseball. But the thing is, it needs to aim at me, like so. There you go. I got another secret path.
Secrets. Yeah.
So it's really, really helpful to get the secret paths because, like you saw a second ago, I got another charge weapon.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm getting a bot core, an old core from a bot, and I also got a new banner. So you'll see that the cape I'm wearing switched a little bit.
It's kind of it's like Magnola doing Destiny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you have those sort of I'm trying to think of the Pathfinder. It's like a world of Pathfinder. So you have a guy with a kind of dumb looking robot. I'm pro dumb robots.
Oh yeah, I love a dumb robot.
Because they're not going to be the ones that destroy us.
It's also cool, so you'll see the creature there in the left, and he kind of just.
It's like a cat.
Yeah, with little skeleton arms and stuff. So now I think we're gonna encounter the first boss the first boss fight, which it's really cool. I mean, the boss fights are just basically a compilation of everything that you've been doing up until that point, and it really tests your ability to adapt and combine everything as you progress.
I really do hope the creature ends up just being a big cat.
That'd be really cute. It would be a great metaphor for this game. I mentioned a cat.
Capricious.
I mentioned my cat, a cat in my video where it's it kind of reminds me of trying to pet a cat that just sort of scratches you, and it's it doesn't need your love, it wants you to earn it in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Justify it.
Yeah.
They're justified and ancient.
So in this case,
Shout out to the KLF.
those little towers on the left and right side of the screen.
Yeah. Are those like explosive?
Yeah, so those are mines. So if
They look like dynamite.
dang it. And eventually you'll get a charge shot that helps you aim, like kind of like in a pool game, gives you like a line that you can utilize for reference. Excuse me.
Also, if you can hear it, the texture of the little ambient parts of the soundtrack are really nice.
Yeah, it's
I was
really
I was listening to that when you were playing this in the other day. Just the whole.
Oh
like-
yeah, you see, so now it's combining like my ability to not only aim and move and shoot at the same time, but also be aware of those mines that I trip. So I'm combining the dash and the. Try to hit that. There we go. Oh.
God, this game's like. What is it? Rubbing your belly and tapping your head, or tapping your head and rubbing your belly? One of
Oof.
those.
Yeah, it just got destroyed right there. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of that, and it's not the easiest thing to do with Joy-Cons, like I'm doing right now. Definitely much easier to do on a Pro controller. But
Yeah. Should rub the pro in.
I know,
We fucked up.
fucked up.
Sorry, y'all.
I've also done that before and completely left it in the office. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first boss encounter that you'll have to do, and then it's a freebie here. It gives you some points.
Yeah, points on the back end.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone's been sort of following the progression of this game, or if they've been curious to play it. I feel like we mentioned also like the Switch seems like the perfect place to do it.
It also is the first thing that like it was one of those trailers that like those showcase trailers that Nintendo was really proud of. Like if you like maybe it's just good SEO, but like when you look up the trailer, the first one that comes up is like the Nintendo trailer. I think in part because Nintendo just has a whip like control like on its own populace, on its own fan base, and they're able to like make people care about a game this size much more than like an Xbox showcase where everyone rolls their eyes. You know, it's like
right.
It's like there's actual heal yourself up. There's actual like, hey, you're already carrying this. Buy this now. You know what I mean? You probably have leftover Nintendo bucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, like, I'll have a more concise and scripted thing going live soon about my thoughts, like, you know, just fleshing it out a bit more in the next coming days. But yeah, I mean, I do like this game. I don't want to give off the impression that like, oh, I hate this game. But there are times where like, man, I really go through it and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this to myself? Where I have to like literally like get up and walk away and then come back to it later. And it's way more than in other games that I've experienced, like Celeste or Sekiro. And I feel like if you know, if this game looks cool to you, just like keep that in mind that there are times where you're gonna be like, why am I doing this to myself?
And your brain, do you think it's the case that some people might just have a brain that this game is like speaking to? You know, because there are times where like it's a balance issue. There are times when it's like I don't know. It sounds like they just didn't account for like certain elements of the mechanics for most people.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's sort of like it definitely doesn't want to hand you everything on a silver platter, which I respect.
Yeah.
But then there are the times where it's just like, come on, that was pretty cheap. Like that felt dirty. Like I know when I'm being like, you know, toyed around with, and the game often feels like whenever my cat finds a bug and it's just like toying with it, but like, just kill it already, like put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
So this
I imagine also like I imagine this is such a unique way of playing a game too. You know what I mean? Like these are really like rare. Like this game is adjacent to a lot of things, but the fact that we have to be like, oh, it reminds me of this game I played on Apple IIe. Right. Is sort of or like a game I played on Genesis is always nice. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, okay, you're doing this game we know, but you're doing it on an indie scale. It's like, no, you're doing this like kind of unique thing.
Totally, and I really love it for that. I want to see more games do shit like this. Like, I mean, I talk about Golf Story in my video and how much I love that game, and I realized like, oh, we should have more games like this. I think we had an AMA actually recently on our site where people were asking questions, and I think someone from Deadspin, actually, shout out to Deadspin, asked like, oh, what they thought were some of the really good sports games that they've played in a while, and they mentioned Golf Story, and I was like, yeah, totally. Like,
Golf Story rules.
I don't know why we don't have more like, you know, really simple, fun, narrative-driven games like Golf Story, and this is kind of that. It's kind of, you know, a mixture of, like what you said before, pinball, baseball, racquetball. At times it's like hockey, where you're like sort of dashing to save or to catch the balls before they go somewhere where you don't want them to. And
pool in certain
Pool,
ways,
for
you know what I mean?
sure,
Because you have
yeah.
those angles, and I made the Donald Duck teaching pool thing, but seriously, go back, 'cause it's just a video about geometry and arcs, and I like anything that's about like
Shit.
predicting the like the actual. Oh, it's in the corners. Yeah.
Scheiße.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is when it starts to get a little tricky. See, I thought I dashed, and sometimes I swear, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I feel like I'm pushing a button and it doesn't register, and that can be real frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, let's try to get up close and then dash the heck away. Yeah.
Okay, that one's taken care of, I think.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, so you see here I have 3 that I can sort of charge up at one time. Scheiße.
It's making you German.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that always feels incredible. That's one thing I actually love. It's one of my favorite things about this game, and any game really that I've played in recent memory.
Right, of course. You like they're oh God, I love little texture things in games where you're just sort of like. It's a really, really, like, I don't know, I feel like there's a word in like Portuguese or German I don't know about, but like when something just in a game is just like it's like popping,
Yeah, yeah.
like popping the little plastic bubbles or something like that. You're like, oh yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, totally. And definitely like nailing shots and stuff. Like it feels like something, I don't know. It feels like getting a goal in Rocket League or something that where
Right.
you're trying for so long. When you finally do it, you're like, yes, like that sense of victory
Yeah.
can really be rewarding.
Yeah,
But then that like defeat sometimes can be really demoralizing at the same time.
yeah, of course.
As you see here, I'm getting a little bit of energy back each time I return one of those serves.
Serving back, yeah.
If you pay attention to the top left of the screen, yeah, I got a little bit of juice back.
Get that juice.
Yeah, so sometimes it really pays to like actually get in the line of fire, and a lot of times, you know, you have no choice because they're aiming at you.
Yeah.
But
But you're just trying to get hit so you can like bounce that all back and
Yeah.
maximize the amount of force you're kicking back to them.
totally. And you know, you're also utilizing those balls they're sending your way.
Yeah.
It's also like
It's also sorry, it was mesmerizing.
no, yeah, it is really, really like, you know, hypnotizing to just watch. I wonder if am I missing something here? I wonder if there's a secret path in here. I don't think so. But
God, I wonder what this game's gonna be like to speedrun if
That's-
it even gets that. Like that would hurt. me,
Yeah.
I think it would hurt me to watch that because the margin of error there I imagine is so specific. You know what I mean? You'd have to get all of your movements right. You'd have to arc everything.
yeah, and there's a lot of like random elements that are involved, which is part of the, I think the thing I'm rubbing up against the most. It's like I'm down for like, you know, mastering a skill, but then once you incorporate a bit of like luck into the mix, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, the thing about Celeste is, you know, specifically if we're using that as the point of comparison, is that like it's science. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like you know, like especially with platforming, it's like you know exactly where. There's no margin of error there, and if there's any kind of margin of error in a game like this, I imagine it would be very frustrating. Is there one in the bottom corner?
there might be. Oh yeah, there is. That's the other thing too. Sometimes there are a couple things sometimes where it's like a little rough around the edges. Where like in one part, it only happened once to be fair. But I did get like stuck on something and I had to like leave the temple and come back, or like, you know, something will just be out of view and you can't really see it. In this case, I think I've cleared everything.
Is that canister up top?
Yeah, let me check.
Is there a secret passage?
That's what makes me wonder if like there was one here, but I guess not. I think this was just a room for free.
Free. It's free real estate.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I
Is
think
it?
it's just
Is-
free real estate.
oh, okay.
Yeah, because it would have
It's
those
free
little
real
dashes
estate.
or something.
It's free real estate.
Yeah, and there are other rooms where like the room I just left, where I feel like you could just farm for points. So the sense of urgency for like needing to get points never felt like an issue, and you do spend points on like upgradable things like your bot core, but it never felt like a problem.
It does feel weird when the camera orientation changes, because like it kind of throws off your sense of direction of what way's up.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the map. Like, and I understand why they're doing it in certain ways. Like, you know, the map's there for a reason. Oh, let me do this. Map's there for a reason, but like on some level, it's like, oh, you know, like in a Zelda game, they never like say like, okay, north up is now south.
Right.
They would never do that. And you know, maybe you have to for the way this game is shaped. It's like, doesn't make sense. It makes sense more for you to always be on the bottom than it does to have true north always be up.
Yeah, there was a couple moments just now in that one little room I was just in where I swear I was holding Y, or what is it? Yeah, I was holding Y for the charge button, and I just got like knocked in the forehead, like just kind of, you know, thinking I was doing a thing that I actually wasn't. And that can be also frustrating where you're like, I swore I was. Oh yeah, this makes sense for me to get in the middle. So this one makes sense for me to like do that.
Oh, wait, is that where the diamond is? Maybe you gotta, so that you can go up or down.
Imagine bank it.
Yeah, I think you gotta like bank it forward, catch it up, and then shoot it up or down.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, that's the idea. That's definitely the idea.
Okay. I was right. Yay.
There you go. Oh! Here we go. Okay, yeah, that was bad. And then, like, yeah, I'll spend way too much time in one of these rooms, and I'm like, oh, wow, an hour passed. There we go.
Sick. Yeah, that specific puzzle was a good, like, cost benefit, you know, like just sweet spot, even though it wasn't terribly complicated. It was a sweet spot of like figuring out what the game's trying to tell you, kind of like executing on it.
Yeah, for sure. And I just like, I don't know, eventually, fair warning, it does get to a point where you're like screaming at the TV, like, why won't this work? And it just kind of, it can be really demoralizing.
Well, it's a nice break from Fire Emblem, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've just been doing too much Fire Emblem.
I also like played this on the heels of playing Ancestors, another game that's like kind of definitely weird, but also like extremely cryptic and hides a lot of information from you on purpose, intentionally.
And that was one where you Steven kind of sold you on it, right?
Yeah.
You were like, I don't like this game. I don't like this game. And
yeah.
And then like Steven just showed you like the thing. You're like, oh.
I was like, oh yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize this one thing that I was missing the entire. And the game doesn't do you any favors. And it's just like, well, you'll figure it out.
I don't know, man. I kind of like that. I kind of like that approach to certain games.
Sure.
Particularly if a game is like really, particularly if a game is doing new things. Sometimes that can be either extremely frustrating or exactly what you want.
Totally.
Because that thing becomes a discovery. Like there's no verbs sort of like assumed about like what you know, like you know, just like in that other game where I play a monkey that is seeing dreams manifest as like scary ghosts.
Yeah, it also it's pretty genius in the execution, even if it does. I mean, I probably won't stick with it, but I would like to see how it progresses over time, especially in its development, because it's genius in the sense that like, oh yeah, you're literally building up the neurons to piece together the things you need to figure out to progress.
Real Assassin's Creed 1 hours.
Oof. Yeah, here we go, y'all. And then other times too, we could just like sit it out if you wanted. Like, there are some rooms where you can literally just like wait by the door and just not get affected by shit.
Cheese it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like if they had removed the stairs, then that would be hard. But
oh yeah.
You can just kind of like pull this dumb crap.
Yep.
I think I finally understand cricket. Oh, someone asked what houses we chose in Fire Emblem. Golden Deer.
Golden Deer for my first playthrough. Yeah. Second one I'm going Blue Lions. Blue Lions.
I want to go Edgelord.
Edgelord. Yeah. Yes, I'm saving that one for my final playthrough. Oh, cool. We will definitely keep that in mind, Andy.
We're talking streams. Someone's asking for stream suggestions.
Yeah.
I think we have some things calendared already. I got to take a peek at what's in the calendar.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, if we want, we can slowly start making our way to the final part of the stream, and I can maybe load up where I'm at in the game.
That's probably useful.
So this will require me. I don't know if I could just back out from here, but probably not. Might have to just show you my home screen. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
You live like this?
Yes, I still play Tetris 99.
And I was gonna say Dragon's Dogma.
And Dragon's Dogma. That's my jam.
I wish I had liked what Dragon's Dogma was more than what it could be.
Yeah,
I'm the weird outlier where I'm like, man, make a sequel. Just make a sequel that's like balanced correctly.
Give me like 4K HDR Dragon's Dogma too.
But even just like make it balanced correctly. You know, don't make it a game that you have to like fight for.
It's actually funny. Lero in the chat is saying that he heard from Luke Plunkett and our very own Luke Plunkett and Patrick Klepek that Ancestors is incredibly rage-inducing, and it is.
You were very pissed off a lot of the time.
Ooh, man, a lot of expletives coming from our office.
It was true. I was present for them.
A lot of F words and stuff. But it's very, very obtuse. And let me show you real quick ways in which. So right now I'm rocking a different cape, as you can tell. I'm also I picked this up very recently, a Bot C Striker. I'm not entirely sure what the benefits of it are yet. This is quickly becoming my favorite. So this lets me, I don't know if you noticed, but every time I was charging and catching balls in previous rooms, it was kind of knocking me back a bit. So you lose your footing, and in some cases it'll push you right up into like a zone or a space you're not really wanting to be in. So that one really lets you plant your feet down and
okay, it's like an anchor.
Yeah, it's like an anchor. So it's really, really useful. And you see how much currency I have. It's just like through the roof.
Obscene.
I have so much money.
You're decked out.
Yeah. So I've cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 dungeons in the game so far. I'm currently playing. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm in the 5th one now, I believe. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, actually, I'm in the 6th dungeon. Sorry, my math is off.
Someone in the chat, Mr. Mo Swordsy, basically said, I cannot recommend modding Dragon's Dogma for PC. I would believe that that's a game changer. I would believe very, very much that is the thing that, like...
God, yeah.
It's like when you play Mother versus when you play the NES balance patch for Mother for NES, and you're like, oh, okay, this is the game I kind of wanted it to be.
Yeah, I bought it on Switch because I was like, I'm going to play this on the go. And I actually do on occasion. We'll play it like on a plane or whatever. But yeah, I can't imagine modding Dragon's Dogma, as I like to call it.
Probably be great. It's probably the best way to play it. But also I just like would like that team. I feel ways because like I hated Dark Arisen, like the little like expansion for it, and you know, but like I would just like an organically produced Dragon's Dogma sequel.
Yeah.
And like not one that was like, but you know, it's sort of like what is it, Remnant, where you're like, okay, this is kind of rough, but.
So here's an example of a room that I don't think I still haven't cleared, because I think this would be glowing white if I did. So in this particular scenario, I was actually demonstrating this to my girlfriend last night. I was like, look how freaking hard this is. So I'm gonna gather up all the balls I need, right? In this case, we'll just have 3, and then just watch what I have to do. Nope. I'm losing it.
God, this looks...
Yeah, I'm losing it.
I would die.
Yeah, so...
Rip.
Thankfully, I can come back here and heal up.
Yeah, I was going to say, glad they actually put the...
oh, my God.
They actually put the pool right next to the real pain-in-the-ass one.
Here's what sucks is those projectiles, they'll just keep floating. I don't think they make it past that door, but... Oh, they do! And I literally... The only way to get rid of them is to just whack a ball.
Just be in a pool with them.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, just be in the pool while they hit me. That's the other thing, too, is like, do they really have to be persistent? Like, can they just not go away over time?
Maybe they just didn't think that one through.
So here we go. Let's try this again. Maybe I'll do this on the stream for everybody. I was trying this like at night. There's another room that was very similar to this, and I managed to do that one. And surprisingly enough, had it on shorter timers. I guess. Oh, I could also like kind of bank it towards the middle there and get. I got rid of one of the turrets. There we go. Oh, I think we figured it out, y'all. Give me the loot. Give me that shit. Oh, I died.
Rip.
Yeah, I died.
It sounds like you got way close to it, though.
Yeah.
Someone's asking if there are avoidance mechanisms like dodge rolls. There are, right?
I've been doing them. So it's a very minor dot. That little dash.
Yeah.
It's very.
Does it have iframes?
I don't know.
It doesn't look like it does.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it has, which would be nice. But like,
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I think it's just getting you out of the way. I think it's just so you can charge and move.
If you hold it down, you do a slightly faster run, which is nice to get through everything. So I think I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Maybe it bears repeating. But the other part that I don't love about this is let's say I just died, as I just did.
Yeah.
I have to again make my way back to where I left off. With boss encounters, this little thing right here will glow and it'll become a portal, and you can just sort of go right through it and go right back to the action.
Sure.
But for everything else, you kind of have to start from zero again and go back. And that was kind of that might have been a mistake on my part. I should have been more aware of my health levels at that point and gone back to that little pool. But this can get kind of annoying. Which way was I going? No, I think
you were going a different way. Yeah.
So yeah, that can be kind of a little bit annoying, but. So I was in this room. So I think this was a secret path. I unlocked it in that pool room by completing a puzzle there that I won't give away. But
secret paths are not required, or
no? But they'll usually have a really good payout, like another charge weapon, or real quick. God dang it! Yeah, you see, I blew it.
Yeah, it looks like you have to prioritize the ones killing you before the tiny ones, or is that the correct way of doing that? I don't know.
I did it before, actually. A second ago, I kind of discovered a little sweet spot that hits both the turret and the little the things that shoot out the projectile.
The in between area.
Yeah, there's like a little sweet spot, and I do have. The only reason I have those, actually, I should equip the fan blade because this will give me health. So there is a little bit of strategy in what weapons you use, which is nice. Oh, these things are... Oh, it's open? What the... Oh, yes, I lost.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. See, and sometimes like waiting for the ball to come back to you, that's the kiss of death.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by sometimes it's literally just out of your control.
Yeah.
And that can be really frustrating. So I'm gonna go back and heal.
I believe in you, Paul.
Thanks.
But I'm having those Celeste flashbacks of trying to get all the strawberries.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, and these little Joy-Con thumbsticks are not the best. I don't have a lot of range of motion.
Yeah.
So it's not the most fun controller to play it on. I really should have bought the freaking Pro controller, or we should have one. I wish we had one.
We just get another one in here. All expensive.
Just buy one. Yeah. Let's try this. Let's try this a couple more times. Maybe we'll try to end the stream with a victory on this one.
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
Ooh. Lord. Okay, let me get out of here. That was bad. That was bad. Yeah,
because the panels aren't required. You could theoretically beat it without hitting those big panels that are killing you, but you probably won't survive if you do.
Yeah.
So getting in between those spaces is kind of key to solving this puzzle.
Those things are so annoying. Like that again. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's like
a couple of annoying things here and there.
Yeah.
A lot.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I love this game. I want to love it, but there are so many things that just prevent me from loving it wholeheartedly. Oh, there's a thing there. It's still out. I wonder if I could have just got that before. Okay. Not in bad shape here. Give me it. No.
Oh, you almost
No.
got it.
Ah. How many? I did it.
Yeah.
Oh god, I did it.
Yeah, it seemed like like nice. Oh, that was a great way to. That was a good note to end on.
Let's find out what we got as a reward. Ooh,
Let's see what this does.
splits. Oh my god.
Is this going to be the thing that breaks the game? I kind of want to see what this does if you don't mind
This
going
is
a little more.
Game changer. Yeah, I think I know what. Let's see. Yeah, it splits it up into 3.
Oh.
That is a game changer.
Can you do charge with it? Oh.
Yeah, dude,
Wow, that's actually really important.
That is extremely helpful. They should give you that a little earlier. I mean, I guess you could get it if you do the dungeons a little out of order, but man, that is a game changer. That might actually change a couple of thoughts I have.
Give it a shot on one of these.
Yeah.
I'm curious how this works. See this bad boy in action.
So I've already done this room, but let's test it out in this room. Oh yeah, it's like a little buckshot.
You just got the shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah, even immediately that seems
Oh
super
my
important.
God. I can get just my the kind of cone that it does, you know.
That also seems useful just because, especially on the Joy-Con, just due to the accuracy.
Yeah.
Like you're.
Yeah, I already did that room. Yeah, that's actually gonna be super helpful. I'm actually glad I was able to get that on stream.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I didn't want to stop playing this game. Like a part of me was like, all right. There are some times where I know when to walk away with certain games where I'm like, all right, this is not really good for my mental energy right now.
You're doing self-harm by
for real
by playing. I did that with Persona. I was like, maybe I'll beat Persona 5, and I was just like, no, you didn't need to do that.
At what cost?
At what cost?
But yeah, this game I really want to really pick apart and who knows, like my love-hate relationship, it's still gonna be there. Like I still think there are certain parts of the game that are a little too unforgiving and a little too a little much. But
so the shotgun bullets. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So the shotgun bullets don't ricochet. They immediately. I think that's how it's balanced out.
That's the catch.
Which is still useful. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But not like broken, because then you would just be bounced. I think it would just create a feedback loop. Like in Second Life, when they made a ball that would self-replicate every time it bounced, and it destroyed Second Life.
They divided by 0. That's fucked up.
They basically created an object that would just tank a server shard.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's killer.
yeah, this is super helpful. My God, could have used this a couple dungeons ago. It's gonna be really helpful against boss fights.
I was wondering, like, would that change? It's like whenever you watch Dark Souls speedruns, and it's like like Dark Souls 2, it's like 2 maces, nude, and dual wielded, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the best way. These fucking perverts, so to speak, these deviant Twitch streamers have figured out the most ideal way to do this. I wonder if it's just like, well, you just got to skip to this specific.
So in this case, I'm going to use the chain blade just to
So you don't
demonstrate.
get bounced back.
Yeah. I still get bounced back, I think, on the strike. On the charge, if I catch them, I don't get.
Oh, okay. So you can dual wield 2 different weapons. I was not paying enough attention to that.
Yeah, one is your charge, and then one is your strike.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, maybe we could probably end things there. This was a really brief look at Creature in the Well. Again, it comes out on September 6th for Xbox One, Steam, and Switch. I'm playing it on Switch, by the way. I've been playing it on Switch. Yeah, look out for my video. I'm gonna go a little bit more in detail on my thoughts on it. But Yeah, I would say, if a challenging game is something that you're super, super into, just keep in mind that sometimes it can really feel demoralizing. Keep that in mind if you're planning on playing this game.
And that's valid.
Yeah, word. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you around. Peace.